In this tutorial, we'll explore all three types of transporters in this mod. Since they're quite similar in terms of usage, we'll discuss them all together and talk about any differences between them. We'll use item transporters when we want to move items from one container to another, such as from one chest to another. The use of fluid transporters will be very similar to item transporters, except that instead of moving items from one container to another, we'll be moving fluids. Finally, we may also want to use the world transporter if we want to pick up an item thrown into the world or get it out of a container. However, be aware that the world transporter for some reason only sucks items to the first slot of the container and deals with items only one block in front of it. To transfer items from one chest to another, we'll place item transporters on the containers exactly one block apart. These items don't have to be directly facing each other, but it's necessary to maintain a precise one block distance. Now both transporters are in the default extraction mode, which means they're ready to send items from the container to their counterpart nearby, but we want one of them to receive instead. Therefore, we'll right-click on the center of this transporter to change its mode to insertion. Now we see that a connection has been established between them, and items have started to be sent. As we mentioned, fluid transporters work very similarly to item transporters, so we should be able to send liquid from one container to another. World transporters work independently, so we'll attach just one to the container, which will now either suck items in or push them out. If we wanted to easily detach any of the transporters from the container, we would sneak and then right-click on it while having an empty hand. We can also create filters for transporters, or we can, for example, specify that birch saplings should not be sent from the container, but everything else should. In the transporter's GUI, we have a default blacklist set up, so it is expected that these slots will contain the named items that will not be sent from the container. Therefore, we simply move this item into one of these slots and it's done. Now everything is set up, and only birch saplings are left here, the rest has been sent. Let's step back, where now we want to define the filter in the opposite way, so that only birch saplings are sent, and the rest remains here. In the transporter's GUI, we switch to a whitelist, and now we see that only birch saplings have been moved. However, you may wonder what would happen if we also set up a filter on the second dented transporter in insertion mode. This would create another filter that would allow or disallow certain items from entering, resulting in an intersection. These filtering operations are the same for all three types of transporters. And what if we wanted the container receiving items to always have only, let's say, for birch saplings, and then the sending stopped? For this purpose, item transporters in insertion mode have a button called Regulate Mode, where the value needs to be changed to Enabled. Then we prepare the exact number of birch saplings again, which we insert into one of the slots. We also make sure that we have a whitelist set up because it will be necessary to manually create a list of all items with their quantities. Now the container contains exactly those 4 pieces we specified, and the rest remains unsent for now. Regulate mode works similarly for world transporters, but it probably does not work for fluid transporters. We can speed up the transfer of items and fluids using speed and efficiency add-ons, where the effect is very similar for all types of transporters. We insert them into the device by holding one of them in our hand and applying it to the transporter that is in extraction mode, that means the one not pressed. Then, in its GUI, using the icon with the letter I, we can check the list of inserted add-ons. Now let's test the transfer speed. First, we'll try the speed add-in Tier 1. We see that the speed has increased. Now let's go back one step before inserting the add-in and test the efficiency add-in Tier 1. The speed of the item has increased significantly, so if we want to achieve maximum speed regardless of the amount transferred in one batch, it is advisable to first apply the efficiency add-in and ideally then insert the speed add-in into the device. Thanks for watching. If the video helped you, give us a like and subscribe.